Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hyrule Chronicles, 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign. I am ArticulateT, the Game Master, and this is episode 48, I believe.
Yes.
Huzzah. And with me, as always, I have Renji, Heir of Nihilus, being played by TheNetherlad.
I'm really going to ruin people's day.
That's bad. You shouldn't do that.
I have Hikan Sio being played by Alvarance.
These poor cultists.
I have Ziden Shari being played by Rubber Part.
Hello.
And I have Max being played by Keystrith.
Hi.
So, my apologies for the lack of session previously. I had, unfortunately, gotten ill. I'm better now. It is not that illness. And speaking of, wash your hands, please. And, yeah, so we're back in the saddle. We're all ready to go. What happened last time, folks?
So last time we woke up and we had a bit of party interaction. Hikan decided to take Renji through some Tai Chi, much to Renji's chagrin at the moment. And then Renji and Max had
It
a
was
very deep...
early.
Yes. And it'll be very early. Every morning now.
What have I done?
And then Renji and Max had a very deep moment. It was very nice and very touching. And then everyone went shopping. Some people took longer than others. And after everyone got together back at the stables, we went out and we ran into a somber note where the prisoners that we had promised would not perish perished as a message we presume to the party, which is really strange because we're not going on the road and we're kind of yeah, it's pretty ominous sounding, but we took care of the bodies as best as we knew how, said a few words, and moved on, where we eventually ran into some cultists. And yeah, well, these cultists have a symbol that was tied to the death of Minister Simeon, which got under the hackles of some of the party, and now they're probably all going to die very painful deaths.
Okay. Yes, indeed. And I will just...
Yes, indeed, they're all going to die. Painful, horrible deaths.
Unless they get exceedingly lucky. But
It sounds like, we want this to happen.
Max still doesn't quite know what's going on, so
Can you honestly say, in character, Renji does not want to kill these people?
I cannot.
Okay.
In the meantime, Renji is casting our Armor of Agathis on himself, taking out a Pearl of Power, regaining his spell slot for Armor of Agathis, and getting his Rod and Rapier ready.
okay. I
need to know who wants haste.
I do not mind having haste.
Who wants it more?
I mean, I'm more physical type of punchy person. 5 punches a turn sounds really great.
More than 5.
No, it's 1 attack for the attack action on haste. And then flurry of blows and my extra attack.
Also a bunch of movement speed, AC boost.
God, how much would my movement speed be?
I believe whilst Renji was doing his Armor of Agathis, I was doing Bark Skin.
Your speed is doubled.
So 110 feet of... No, sorry, 100 feet of movement. I got my HP and my speed mixed up there for a second.
I actually wouldn't mind haste because I can then actually use disengage next to my action.
That would be good.
Okay, yeah. And you guys are closer anyway. That's fine. No worries.
Yeah. So, as you
I don't even know if Max knows where Hikan is, because he did really well in stealth.
I did 22, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, But yeah, as you kind of have situated yourself where you currently are, as per the previous session, and you have these quite clearly cultists who are kind of standing around on the bridge, a couple of them just looking down into the gentle river that flows beneath them. What is the general plan of attack? They have not noticed you yet.
So I believe we were communicating via Ziden's telepathy.
Mhm.
And the general plan of attack was Renji and Ziden will be thunderstepped to... Was it here or was it here?
I was thinking here. Oh, hold on, wrong. Here.
Okay.
Back
But
here.
this would actually, like, do
You
as
would
much
both
damage.
be able to go there.
Yeah,
So-
I wouldn't. That's true.
So
And doesn't thunderstep burst from where you leave, not where you are?
Yeah, so I was thinking of, like, if that is possible, running with Ziden over here
Mm.
and
couldn't we go
then
here?
stepping over there. And I mean, like, Thunderstep is 90 feet, so that's no problem.
Okay.
I will need you to go after me then, so I can cast haste on you, because it's 30 feet.
Okay.
Well, if you do it that way, can we run together and do that? Because by the time we got to there, it wouldn't be a stealth round. If we did it, just teleport here and have stealth attack.
Yeah, but then the Thunderstep would, like, originate here, the damage.
Mm,
So it won't hit anyone.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
with Renji's extra action, you'd run over with your haste, thunderstep to take out those two, and then Renji has an extra action to stab at this guy, or this one over here. At least that's what I'm understanding of the current
Mhm.
plan.
but I was gonna go first and then do a line of damage
Oh yeah, that was
A
it.
here,
line of damage, eh?
We're
a
going to
line
have-
of damage
that was
here, and then see if I
But
can
then we're going to
stun
do their
three.
line attacks. Then once they do the line attacks, we teleport to the back.
Well, I'm doing haste instead of my line attack, so
Okay.
I mean, if you want to pop haste
I'll-
beforehand.
it's
can-
1 minute, and when it ends, it's catastrophic. So
Fair.
You're
I have
Basically,
seen someone run out of haste while surrounded before. It is not pretty.
Oh boy.
Yeah. You basically have a time limit of 1 minute until
Mhm.
otherwise Renji is going to be
just
useless.
You will basically for an entire round just sit on the floor and do nothing.
Yep.
That post haste lethargy. It's horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Like, I've already taken 3 rounds by preparing.
Yeah, I'm fighting.
Okay.
Just for the sake of brevity, I want everybody to roll initiative now, and
Okay.
we'll have everybody act in accordance as they go, and then when
Oh,
you've
boy.
done your surprise round, everything will go. Oh, everything's in its. I forgot you guys have like your tiebreakers on.
yeah.
I didn't put that on. I think someone else.
Oh,
You might have at some point. I don't remember.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember going into anybody's sheet and doing a tiebreaker.
I don't remember doing it either.
Might be a Roll20 update thing.
I remember doing it on all of my sheets at one point, and then I remember you guys asking, "How'd you do that?" I told you guys how to do it. I don't know who all did it. and didn't,
I did.
so-
I think I did it.
Oh well, it's on. Who cares?
Mhm.
Is music playing for people?
No, I haven't got anything playing at the moment.
Okay.
I'm just gonna.
I was just making sure because I've been having sound issues with Roll20 lately, so I just wanted to make sure it wasn't on my end.
That's too bad.
Okay. All right. So in descending, there we go. Awesome. All right. So initiative has been rolled. The cultists, as previously established, are not aware. So as we head into battle, whoever's doing their first thing, do their first thing.
Alrighty, I'm gonna step here, whisper zap in Sheikah, and then throw. Ooh, I like the song. And then throw it at the far wraith. My lightning javelin.
Okay.
Boop. Alrighty.
Okay,
that
so-
would be- Yeah.
The javelin itself hits.
Okay.
So that would be 9 plus 4 is a total of 23 damage on this guy. And then it's a dex save for everybody else down that line towards it.
Correct.
So we'll do the other big guy in front of him first. That's a fail.
Alright.
And then the 2 cultists before them. So that's one. One of them passes,
Good job.
and the other one fails. So, as like you run in, you rear back and hurl the javelin. Before anybody on the bridge is aware as to what's happening, the first guy down the line completely disintegrates. This is immediately followed by another guy who somehow miraculously looks in the direction and just manages to kind of hold onto the rope as if it kind of like, and pull himself just in a sense, like he's not taking the full blast, but is still horrifically scarred down the back, dealing him a total of 6 damage and allowing him to survive. This is then
Good job.
This is then followed by the other main cultist who is not as perceptive as his underling and ultimately takes the full brunt of it as it passes through him to reach the other main cultist you were chiefly aiming at. The javelin rematerializing with one final burst of lightning and dealing him a more grievous wound. So that's a full 11 damage. Nice. Good turn.
Alright. And then I would like to use the rest of my movement to get here, if possible.
Okay.
And then, so the throwing the lightning javelin counts as a regular attack, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will pick up, or so I'm going to punch the 3 wraiths. I'm going to spend a key point to use Flurry of Blows, and I'm going to try to stun all 3 of them.
Okay.
So first one on the one to the north of me.
Alright.
The 22 for 6.
22 for 6. That's a hit for 6 damage, and he needs to make a save, doesn't he?
Yes, Constitution saving throw of 14.
Okay, he is stunned.
Alrighty. And then the guy to the northeast of me.
That's a
19
hit
to hit.
For a further 6 damage, and he will attempt his Constitution saving throw. He fails. He's also
Damn.
stunned.
And then my last one
Mm-hmm.
against the. I don't think a 14 hits though.
It does not hit. It kind of like strikes against this semi-ethereal barrier that seems to radiate around it, but is otherwise like it's not like a shield, but is a narrow miss as it kind of parries away. But yeah, good turn. All right.
And then because Drunken Master gives me free disengage, an extra 10 feet of movement, I'm gonna go right next to this guy over here, so my friends have more room to hit people.
Okay. Right. So the next part of the plan was to have so if Max hasn't cast it
both of
yet,
us
then
run here.
I haven't cast yet.
okay. So okay.
I'm last.
Okay.
Almost.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
I don't know if people want to delay actions or what.
If we delay our turn until after Max, I guess.
okay.
If that would be possible.
I mean, I was going to say, it's like this one technically isn't happening in order. This is you executing a plan,
okay.
and then the actual fight happens with the initiative we just rolled.
Mhm.
Then
So
I-
next
Possible.
turn is haste.
Yes.
And then we run to here.
out of curiosity, I can't quicken a 3rd level spell to use them the same as a 3rd level spell, right? Same round.
Maybe run here.
No, I don't think you can. You can quicken a 3rd level and then do a 2nd as a main action, but
Yeah, but lightning
I'll
bolts
go
are-
to here. So
Um, So I
Yep,
will
good.
cast haste on Renji. Enjoy that,
Thank you.
and then I will wait
Okay.
with the rest of my stuff.
Okay. So, last two components of your.
This is a concentration spell, so I need to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Good to know.
Okay. Ziden, Renji, you're part of the
Next
plan to
step.
execute.
I run to here.
Okay.
Renji.
You don't want to attack there?
I was going to save my actions for after we teleport.
Okay. Then Renji is going to run over here with his enhanced speed. Reach behind him to clutch Ziden's arm,
Mm-hmm.
and together they vanish into a swarm of black particles, causing this loud bang to erupt from where Renji used to be.
Okay.
Ziden feels less certain about this now that he realizes he's going through the black particle teleport.
And Renji and Ziden snap over there, and the cultists need to make a Constitution saving throw
Okay.
from here.
Did you click the spell?
I could click the spell, and I do click the spell.
Yeah.
Level 3 spell.
Could also give a damage.
Oh,
Ooh, that is
oh.
a damage.
That is damage.
That-
I'm not
That
even.
is a
I'm not even
7,
sure.
an 8, and a 10.
I'm not even sure whether or not I should roll the Constitution saves for these guys. They're not going to survive it.
If they have less than 12 hit points,
Yeah. So you run up, you grab Ziden by the arm, and with a with the kind of like that sort of like otherworldly groanings. Like, I imagine like it has this kind of sort of War of the Worlds tripod groaning noise. Whenever like there's a teleport into the Twilight Realm or through it or by proxy of it, as you kind of do that, there's this hideous thing, just this hideous mass of black pixels and Twilight energy just takes all three of them, and they are gone. They are physically gone from this locale. It's a 10-foot radius, right? Yeah.
they are physically gone?
Yeah, they're gone.
Oh shit! Harvester is getting some.
You gave him humans, you bastard.
I did, shit! But they deserved it, I
Did
think,
they?
in this moment.
I don't think they did.
That's not Ziden talking. That's Robo Pirate.
That's
Shut
going
up.
to be Ziden talking later.
Ah.
This is merely a preview.
As I reappear, I put my rapier to the throat of what I think the throat of one of these wraiths.
Uh-huh.
Aren't they just cultists in different robes, right?
They're
Yeah,
fully,
yeah,
they're fully covered.
Yeah, so I'm pointing my rapier to the throat of this hooded cultist, and I say very loudly so that everyone here can hear, "Stand down. We're having a very bad evening. I'm warning you not to make it worse."
We are having a bad day, and we do not have time for this tomfoolery.
Do they
I'm having a
stand down?
very disappointing love life, and I don't see why anyone should have a good time.
Make an intimidation check.
I will make an intimidation check. And that is a 2, so a 6.
Two of the fully robed individuals are kind of just like they're too busy being discombobulated for them to truly notice. The third one just kind of slowly turns at you, saying nothing. The more human individuals, however, I'm gonna roll for them real quick. Okay, so only one of them seems kind of like as they kind of realize what's happening. The others sort of take like shuffle a little bit back as they kind of look at each other like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
It's the one that's going. This one or a different?
I'd say it's this one. He seems the most surrounded.
Okay. He'll get a light shove as I guess it goes to Ziden's action now.
Mhm.
As Ziden transforms into a giant snake.
Fuck.
Oh,
That's right. I'm just gonna move you out the way briefly so I can reach this cultist and move him out the way. So then, there we go.
I
All
forgot
right.
that this was huge. I thought it was only a 2x2.
Oh, hey, I'm bigger than I thought.
I shall then be attempting to constrict this lower one
Okay.
for a 21 to hit for 20 damage.
Okay. We
Ooh.
need to add that +1 to your things.
We
don't we?
really need to add that +1, but it's like adding it to every single beast is a pain.
Okay, so that's a 19 damage, which is pretty good.
20 damage.
Oh, 20 damage, right?
That random +1.
Yeah. And let's see.
always useful.
Target is grappled, DC 16, grapple and okay.
He is restrained and grappled.
Alright. Sweet. Right. And Max, you said you were waiting, so I guess this.
I was waiting to see how the cultists react, and since they seem fearful.
The more human ones do, at the very least.
Okay.
I have added to their troubles.
I will then. What the hell? Yeah, I can't break concentration on haste, so I'm gonna leave them. They can go.
Okay. Alright. So it now comes to the proper round of combat. Hikan.
So Hikan's gonna do the thing that he did similarly beforehand and slide on his new snake buddy to get back to where he was to begin with. And then he's going to I'm just gonna start wailing on the one in front of me to the north until either he goes down or he's gonna take all the punches. Or yeah, because I think my unarmed strike's gonna do as much as the javelin's gonna do in melee, so I'm not gonna bother picking it up at the moment. That's a natural 20 for 9.
9. Okay. Have you rolled You haven't rolled anything higher than a 6 on your main damage die. That's unfortunate.
That happens.
Okay, so yep.
27 for 7 because he's stunned.
Okay. Yep.
And yeah, I'll go ahead and spend a key point. That's what they're there for. And then I'm going to do another punch. 17 for 9.
Okay.
All right, 17 hits. Awesome. And a 27 for 8.
Okay. Did you use Stunning Strike on any of those?
No, I did not.
Okay. Alright, yeah, you just wail into this guy and you feel like bones crunch beneath the fabric of the robes, somehow still standing after that brutal assault.
Hikan's going to be a bit confused, but he's going to Dark Souls roll over here, so that way Max has a clear shot if he wants to take it.
Okay. Ziden. As a snack.
Am I able to both bite this guy and drag him into the river?
I'm gonna say, for the sake of cool, yes.
Wonderful.
I'll look into the finer details of it later, but for now we'll go with that.
Let's attempt to bite. 25 for 11 biting damage.
Okay.
And then I'm going to drag him down into the river.
Okay. So he's down into the river and you're down there with him. It doesn't matter, he's kind of just trapped down there. So as you bite into him, there's this kind of like more rigid texture to it as you bite into him and you drag him down. This is
I dealt with one of them. Maybe.
Okay. All right. Then it's the casters goes. They're going to. These two are no. Is it the start of the turn or the end of the turn that they're no longer
The end
set?
of my next turn.
Oh, the end
so
of
I wasn't sure if you wanted to include the surprise round as its own thing, or if you wanted to do that from there.
I feel like including surprise round goes with it because it's
Okay.
still within the 6 seconds of progression.
And it's a really powerful ability, so I don't blame you there at all.
Okay, so on their go, now that they're kind of more coherent, the one that you've been pummeling, Hikan, that one is going to raise a hand at you, and is going to... just need to find the appropriate thing. Okay. It's gonna kind of wheeze at you. Something that seems briefly indecipherable as this kind of thick, dark fog emanates from its hand and tries to wrap around you. I need you to make, for me, a wisdom saving throw.
Boy. That's a 13.
Okay.
No, 14.
Yeah.
I forgot I have my cloak.
That's all right. That's fine. You feel that the darkness is trying to encapsulate you in some fashion, but it does not take, and you manage to shake it off. This one here is then going to wave a hand and is going to disappear into a cloud of similarly colored fog all the way over here. And then I just need to check to see what type of action.
DM,
Yes.
when I see this guy disappearing into smoke, can I do one thing, and it will not be like mechanically important? I had the rapier at his throat.
Yeah.
Can I just flick it up to try and sever their hood?
Sure. Make an attack roll for me and see if it beats their AC.
Okay.
It won't deal
attack
any
roll.
damage, but it'll.
I will not deal damage. It's a 26.
Yep. So you and the hood kind of parts. They disappear in a cloud of smoke, and as you turn to see where they reapparate from, you can see that there is no flesh. It is just bleached bone that lies underneath the hood with these dark red spots in the dark cavities where their eyeballs should be. As you stare at him, he raises the hand and fires a dark necrotic blast of energy at you. But a 14 doesn't hit your AC, so you're fine.
Nope.
He just whizzes past.
Actually, with that, it may just like bounce off of my mithril armor,
Yeah.
and then I like wipe off the scuff mark.
Okay. Similarly, Ziden, on your turn, as you kind of focus on this thing underneath the water, there is a brief bloop from beneath the hood, and then it too vanishes from sight and reappears back on shore, out of your grasp. And that is a bonus action, so as it arrives, it's going to turn. It's actually going to try and fire at you underneath the water in your snake form. So I might say it's going to fire with this with disadvantage because you've got kind of murky cover and it's a bit disadvantageous. So an 11 probably doesn't hit your giant constrictor snake AC.
Oh no, we lost him.
Did we lose him?
No,
Hello.
he was quiet.
That's all right. Does an 11 hit your AC?
I'm okay.
You're okay. All right. So just the necrotic energy bolt blasts into the water and doesn't manage to hit you. And that'll be their turn. Renji.
It's a me, Renji. Renji is when he sees these like skeletal bodies of at least that one, he audibly says, "No more diplomacy," steps over to this guy, and with his rod of the Pact Keeper, tries and plunge into probably the ribcage of this thing, and he's going to try and siphon off its energy.
Okay.
I'm going to use Vampiric Touch.
Max is just back here thinking there was an attempt at diplomacy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 23 to hit.
Okay. Heal wounds, make a melee spell attack against who takes 2d6 damage and you regain hit points equal to half the amount of necrotic damage dealt. Until the end of the spell ends, you can make an attack again each turn. Right. So you reach out to grab this guy. You let's say grab him by the back of the skull. There's this violent shaking as it does so, as the twilly pixels radiate from this thing, and then it just begins to crumble in your grasp. It had 2 hit points left over.
Oh, and I thought, oh shit, I rolled so bad on the damage. But now that one is gone, I rush towards this one and stab with my rapier on my hasted action.
Ah, yes. I was like, can you do this bonus? Oh no, you've got
I
haste,
can.
I remember.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
roll the attack.
well, no, I do Hexblade's Curse on him as
Okay.
bonus action.
Alright.
He now has... I have bonus to damage rolls, and any attack of a 19 or a 20 is a critical hit.
Okay.
So, True Twilight Rapier, once, 21 to hit,
That is a hit.
only 6 points of damage, but it's 10 points of damage because
Hey.
bonus to... Sorry, it's not... hold on. Not 10, it's 9. My bad.
That's okay. Yep. So your strike is true. You stab through, and yes. Is that your turn, good sir?
Yes, that is indeed my turn. I'm going to... I have my bonus action, I have actioned, and I have moved.
Okay. So Max.
Do these human-looking cultists look shocked by the appearance of the skeletal creature?
They certainly seem like they are thoroughly and utterly out of their depth, and they're kind of at this point in time just reeling from the sudden break in tranquility from what has just occurred.
Right. Oh. 6, and move a bit closer. Alright, this one I can click in a bunch. Or do that. Instead, gonna move up a bit and
Okay.
fire magic missiles down at this corpsey boy.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I'll do individual missiles because that works better. At 2nd level, so
Nice.
4 darts. Pew, 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 pew.
11 damage. Nice. As you kind of just let them loose, finding their mark rather quickly. And it has kind of sort of over-exaggerated movie action, reacting to gunfire sort of thing. Still stands, but is certainly worse for wear from the attack. And yeah.
And I will quicken it and do some more.
Okay. 2, 5.
Send another volley.
Okay.
Just on the 1st level.
11. Nice. Or is there? Did I miss one? Oh, is it? Oh, you said it as first
Surgery.
level. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You can see like one impacts. The last one impacts with its face, and it unhooks the jaw, and it's like. but it remains on its feet, on its clearly undead feet. Yeah, nice work. And then as the cultists go, they all thoroughly realize how out of the depth they are, and they fucking scarper. And they use a dash action to run as far out of the encounter as they possibly can in any and all directions that they can manage. Meaning,
That seems like the most reasonable reaction.
yeah,
I don't blame them.
and they're out. All right, then it is Hikan's go.
All right. Okay. So, I want to get behind this guy right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to punch him in the back of the head.
Okay,
That's a 17 for 9.
that hits.
23 for 6.
That hits.
And he's still up.
Yep.
Alrighty, flurry of blows one more time. 21 to hit, because I'm flanking, but
Yeah. Yep, and with that last strike, you feel the bone turn to dust underneath the cloak, and it just kind of falls into a pile at your feet.
So for flavor, because I would like to run up and then kick him in the chest as I reel back to somersault kick this one in the top of the head with my last unarmed strike. 16.
Yeah, that'll do it.
All right.
It had a single hit point after the flurry of magic missiles thrown its way.
Perfect. Let's see. That's 25. Can I see any of the cultists?
Let's see. You don't see any more cultists that are the cultists. The only cultists that you see are the ones that are currently fleeing the scene. And
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you want me to chase him? Do you want me to catch one?
Yes, we need to ask what's going on to at least one of them.
All right, I'm gonna go chase one.
All right, you chase one.
I'm going to join Hikan now that I can keep up with Hikan for a while.
Okay. I'm going to say that, considering the circumstances, it is easy enough to kind of catch up to one of these guys, and yeah, it's easy enough to catch up to one of these guys and just kind of grab them. And as you do, it's like
Holding the rapier close to strike, I say, probably like in the last bits of the haste spell, now listen here, what were you doing on that bridge?
we were just don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I don't have anything.
We'll see about that based on what you... And then I just... we'll see about that.
Catch up with you guys. Like, you're okay?
I think so. Man, I'm tired. I look over at the robed figure.
Mess is just frowning and looking at the ground, kind of like, shit, I shouldn't have done that.
So why again were you on that bridge? We won't kill you, we just need the information. And I'm trying to persuade him of doing this good thing.
I will assist by saying, oh, no, never mind.
Natural 20.
Natural 20 for 27. Okay.
Yeah.
So, as you kind of say, calms down a bit. He looks around to see if he can find any of the others, but can't see hide nor hair of them. And this one in particular is fairly short and seems like he might be fairly young. But he says, it was just a sermon thing. Like, it was, I don't think it was gonna be anything like I don't think there was gonna be any kind of magic using thing. They just said that they were going to show us the river and teach us a lesson about the nature of death and everything, how it's like a river. And it's just, I don't.
Does he have the symbol on his clothes?
He does not. He's
It's
just
just-
wearing a plain brown robe.
Point a thumb, mass point a thumb behind him and say, that symbol those guys are wearing
Hmm?
showed up in a murder.
What?
If someone who I'm given to believe is pretty important.
A friend of ours
It's-
was killed. That symbol of that accursed eye was close to him when he died, radiating some sort of evil ritualistic magic. So you can understand why we're a little wary of anyone having to do with that. Also, wasn't it obvious that you were dealing with, like, skeletons?
No, it wasn't. I don't know there were skeletons.
To be fair, Renji, we also didn't kind of see their faces until you moved the hood.
That's completely. It's obvious, isn't it? If someone is not showing their face, there's something going on. Also, yes, Renji is being irrational.
That's just like,
But don't you hide your face something? Oh, I'm not gonna start that.
just tell us everything you know about him.
Just,
Where were they from?
They did. They didn't say, but they've been with us for weeks, and they seem really nice, and I just.
Okay, what did they do? How did they convince you to be here?
I need to sit down. Hold on. And
I just push him down onto the ground.
okay. After he takes a moment to kind of recollect himself, he kind
I
of
gave him my water skin so he can have something to drink. And
he does you can see that might be some part of him that appreciates the offer, but for the most part he just kind of sits and hugs his knees. Says, look, things are already scary enough, and there's like we've had holy men come into town before, and they all talk about doing this or doing that and just being a good person and everything. That's great. I agree with the notion. I do, but things get difficult. Things get tough. Things get scary. And with the war happening, and like we get especially when we get like a rumor or a message or something to say that the king's dead, and like there's so many things that happen, and you have you need some assurance that if anything does happen to you, you are okay, that it's not gonna be the end. And these guys, they come in, they show us actual miracles, right?
Okay, what did they do?
They let us talk to our dead relatives. They showed us that, like, just dying isn't going to be painful. They show us that death is not to be feared. It's like to be embraced as a part of natural cycle. They just make us feel so good about ourselves. I didn't know they were skeletons. I didn't know they were that. None of us did.
And there were just 3 of them, or were there more? Are there more?
It was just those 3. I don't know if there's any more. I mean, I get it. I get that the symbol itself is a bit sketch. I mean, it's not like it's not a bird. It's not waves. It's not an hourglass or anything. But it's just they made us feel happy and safe and like this. It doesn't matter if you die. It just, you carry on in any kind of fashion and you go on to the next world and you'll be taken care of. And
Is that what your loved ones were saying?
yeah.
Renji just walks off for a moment, rubbing his forehead. Then he comes back, dismisses his sword, kneels down with... Like, how old is he? Is he older than Renji?
He seems
same
like
as
he
age?
is around 16, 17. at
Okay, so
most.
just a little bit younger.
Mm.
Listen. I am... Oh, God, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
These things, they are connected to some very bad and dark things. You mentioned there was news of the king's death.
Yeah, I mean, they came into town beforehand, but with the king's death and everything just seemed so uncertain. They were just so reassuring, I guess.
What they were doing is using uncertainty to get on your good side. Yes. The king was killed. And we have reason to believe that the people who you were dealing with have something to do with that as well.
I didn't.
You didn't know. And who else was there with you?
Well, I mean, all of us were. We came from little hamlets and stuff, but we all met in King's Ward. We'd all go to work in King's Ward, and
Okay, so close by.
Well, from here, not really. Like we lived in little hamlets that were walking distance from King's Ward to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
And you would know that King's Ward
Mm-hmm.
is roughly 34 miles, 35 miles southwest.
Still quite a ways away.
Hmm.
So, the people that you were with, save for the 3 hooded creatures, you were close with them. You knew them.
Not terribly, but like I said, they were so reassuring, and they.
The 2 people standing on the edge of that bridge didn't look reassured.
He didn't sound it either.
I mean, I feel like there's always going to be skepticism in a way. Like,
Probably.
it wasn't. I don't think any of us were like thoroughly 100% on board, but we were on board enough to, I don't know, give it a shot. Like I said, they made us feel good and safe and happy. It was a bigger impact than we've had with many of the previous clerics or priests that have wandered into town before. Everyone was always so disenfranchised, and I don't know, they were different. He kind of like clams up a bit, but not in the sense of that he's like not wanting to talk about, like, to divulge any specific information. He just feels like it feels like the guilt and or shame from the situation has kind of just gotten the better of him.
I start rummaging through my bag of holding. I pick out a couple of platinum pieces too, and I give them to him. It is not much. And then I sigh and I take out 3 more. This is We're a guild. You didn't know these others. They were part of the group you were with, whether or not you were allied with them for very long. You should go.
Kind of like examines the coinage in his hand, like as if there's more of a weight to it than before. As he kind of slowly clasps his fingers around it, he nods and says, I don't know if it will help, but one thing they did mention was they mentioned somebody named Arbiter. I've never met them. They never described them, just the name Arbiter. If that helps. And
Arbiter. Okay. Did they mention anything related to the Northern Star?
no. And about that.
Anything related to Midnight?
Nothing.
You mean Twilight?
He kind of indicates that he that they haven't really mentioned anything that could be fully linked to the Twilight Cartel.
Mm.
Did anyone else have any other questions?
I can't think of anything.
Not right now.
I kind of help him to his feet, kind of thing. And while he's still getting there, Nikon's gonna go. Have you seen any of the Gerudo ladies before?
Udo?
Really tall, dark skin,
Oh yeah.
red hair.
I know who the Gerudo are, but I haven't met anyone specifically who was a Gerudo.
Well, I had a friend named Tyrina, and she followed somebody named Etheria. And as I'm kind of like taking him away from the group, and I just kind of found it odd that the people that what they said was the exact same thing that she told me about her goddess. And Etheria has a very different symbol, kind of thing. And like, I'll even draw it out, kind of thing, and give it to him, kind of thing.
Mm.
And I know that there's a temple in Castletown if you can get in, and just leading him away from the group is like, if you're struggling with faith, here's a place to check out. That seems to be exactly what you're looking for, minus the evil guys.
Minus the rampant undead.
Now without skeletons.
Yeah.
Literally using the same selling points, but without the skeleton people.
Yeah. Oh dear.
No bones!
Yeah.
No bones about it.
Boneless religion.
Oh dear. But yeah, he kind of listens to you as you kind of discuss it. And it seems like he might be taking it on board.
I mean, you're already out here. You could stop by Castletown on the way home, visit them. They know a lot more than I do. I met her a month ago when we talked about it a little bit, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry about your friends, and sorry about scaring you, but those other guys, they weren't good news, and I'm sorry you got caught up in that. I'm actually gonna pull out some of the rations that I bought in Sarkosa and give it to him so he can make it wherever he's going.
Okay. Yeah. He thanks you again, and then when seemingly able to, will wander to see if he can find the other remaining cultists who are have disappeared into completely different directions. At least from the directions that he would remember them going to. But yeah. Congratulations, you defeated a small outcropping of cultists.
Hey.
And it doesn't feel that great.
Hey.
Actually, Renji is like stepping closer to Ziden because, like,
Ziden's not there.
no?
He's still back at the river.
Okay, then Renji is going to go back to the river to find Ziden.
Whilst that was going on, Ziden was making sure to absolutely pummel the skeletons into dust.
Ah.
And then looked around for any any kind of flowers of at least some holy value to them to bury in amongst the dust.
Alright, make a nature check.
Come on, nature. Oh.
Oh.
Too distracted by being a giant snake.
Yeah. too distracted by snakeness as well as other things. You don't seem to find any distinctive local fauna that would suit your needs. Seems to mostly be basic bushes and fir trees and yeah, nothing that catches your eye at the very least as you hunt around.
I'm gonna head back as well because I don't want to be left alone in the woods.
Be a good idea.
So you all regroup. I'm guessing one of you eventually fetches Mara and the horses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that while Renji talks to Ziden.
Yeah.
Renji just walks up to Ziden. We get the feeling that we've done a bad thing.
Zaiden's snake will nod slightly.
Like we the cultists, the ones that were alive. I sacrificed them to jump over a bridge to get to those bastard skeletons. Do I need to be like this? Is that what being Sheikah is? Doing the dirty work so that the royal family can stay clean and unsullied and rule?
Ziden will stare into Renji's face with his unusually large head right now, using telepathy as to make it, I suppose, a more private conversation. Let's probably see. Do you really think that the royal family is clean? That's not really the nature of royals. But then, I'm not exactly what you define as a normal Sheikah. I don't exist for their pleasure. I don't fight for their particular sake. Just because this is our race does not mean it is our life's goal. If you do not want to do it, not particularly forced to. In the end, you don't really care about the royals. You care more about your father and other general levels of acceptance.
We should talk about you more, but I realize that we are living very different existences. I can't say no to my family, not openly. I realize that the thing I've done, what I've agreed to with this, and I materialize my Twilight Rapier, change it into a dagger, change it into any kind of, like, sword. This is the biggest disappointment I have ever been in my father's eyes. I know what my father does. I know that he gets his hands dirty so that the children of the king, well, the king and his siblings, get to live free of any other burdens. I always imagined that I'd follow in those footsteps. But my father never really pushed me. No, this is silly.
I would say it's natural that a father wants better for their young than they had for themselves. Perhaps he saw his own work as something that he wouldn't want to push onto you.
I never really had ample time to discuss my future. I do wonder what he wants for me. Wasn't a great scholar. I read, but don't really engage with whatever it is. I'm not a great fighter. At least not without powers that I've been given. I was never the obedient type. Not really. So I wouldn't be of much use in Kakariko. At least we've got the Storm's Eye now. I'm at least a hero of Sakosa. Not sure if I can rest on my laurels for that.
I think it is undeniable that you've done good work with what you have. It is just a question there. The power you have, can it stay good?
Good work. I don't know. We got a lot of people killed. Either through our own action or indirectly. Those Rivers-Aura. I promised them that they'd be safe. And here we are, traveling to another city. And what do we find? Corpses on display for us. I don't think that we can stay good and fight this.
Are you
Something is going to
suggesting
crack.
Being... Actually, it sounds like you are suggesting being like your father, the better evil.
There's a few things that I disagree with when it comes to my that I disagree on with my father. Despite I know him as a very careful and wise person, except for one thing. I think he can choose very carefully what is right for someone, what is justice to someone. But not for himself, or for me. Do you know he hasn't seen my mother in 9 years? His wife. 9 years.
Has he ever said why?
Because he is in Castletown. For his purpose. For his job. His calling. And I've seen my mother only a handful of times.
That, at least I would say, is incredibly foolish of him.
He thinks it's romantic. I think. That's the gist I have. I think that he and my mother thinks that their love is one of the ages, and that their duty is what, like, that despite their duty, they love each other. He can't see that it tears them apart for so long. I wish I could have said that to my mom. I guess I have my weaknesses there too.
Meanwhile, Max, you return to find Mara, who was kind of just sitting patiently, a little anxiously on her horse while the others are tied up near a tree. She sees you coming and kind of says, "Oh, Max, hi. Everything okay?"
More or less.
Right.
Should probably bring the horses up.
Yeah. He hops off her horse, so it's easier to, at least for her, easier to guide the other horses along with you.
Gather them up and walk along.
Yeah. What exactly happened?
Ran into some weird skeleton guys wearing robes with that, symbol that was around where Simeon died.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. And they had some people with them.
Right.
I don't really know what was going on, but Weird.
Okay. All right. Well, taken care of. We should get back to it.
Hmm.
And eventually she rejoins the rest of you at the bridge. Um,
Probably encounter Renji and Giant Snake intensely staring at each other.
Possibly, yes.
yeah,
The telepathy chat.
yeah. But I gather with the horses back, you all saddled up and continue on your way.
Hmm.
While it is still light out. And while on horseback, as you cross the bridge and make your way over, you do eventually find your way to Drumnik Town, a small walled town that sits in something of a marshy swampland sort of area. Do I have music specific for Drumnik Town? I do not. So I'll just borrow some Hyrule Castle Town instead. That.
They won't mind.
Yeah. So as you kind of rejoin the road and head in, you see that there is it's like a wooden palisade sort of arrangement that sits around Drumnik. It is significantly smaller than Zarkoza, at the very least. But you can see that there are a few places where there's a decent amount of commerce, like towards the center of town, buildings stop being made out of wood and more out of brick and stone. You can see like a small sort of fort that sits near the middle, surrounded by a moat that kind of keeps the place protected. And there are a lot of guards everywhere, especially in the case that there is obvious signs of battle damage. You see chunks have been taken out of the wooden wall, and there's this kind of dour sort of tone about the place as everyone's going about their business. As you approach, a pair of guards rock up, and one of them says, "Hold, what's your business in Drumnik?"
Just, we've heard some disturbing things. Have holy men traveled here?
Not many. We get a lot of people in robes, of course, but not many holy men. We do have a preacher here.
Preacher, local person?
Yes,
Good. What, from what faith?
Chronica, I believe.
Okay.
We do have one or two people who praise Melania, but they are equestrians, so that makes sense.
That it does. So, any strangers coming into town lately? And I kind of like displace my cloak to show the symbol of the royal family and the Sheikah eye on my breastplate of my half plate.
Squints a bit and says, "Well, I'm not exactly sure that's my place to say, but if you speak to Captain Whitestone, then he'll be able to help you there."
And where may we find Captain Whitestone?
He kind of looks up vaguely into the sky to see the position of the sun. Says, around about this time, he's usually doing his rounds in the town center. If you head just down that way and take the next left, you'll be right there.
Good. Is there a place for us to leave our horses?
Yes, there's a hitching post just over here, and points there, where there's like a series of like a railing that is set in front of like a trough which is filled with water, and basically bales of hay that are next to it. And says, there is no charge, just don't leave your horses here forever if you can.
What happened?
Oh, those would be the moblins.
Oh,
We get a lot of moblin attacks from the north, just over the bridge. And kind of just points haphazardly with his spear to the north. Says, sometimes they sneak around here to try and take us from behind, but they are moblins, and they are not terribly smart, so we usually deal with that rather quick.
okay. Is there a place to get a good drink around here?
It says... there is a recent place. We call it the Moblin Kicker Tavern. It is a nice place, very, very rustic. Run by a nice Goron called Rekla.
Okay, thank you. And Hikan will get off horse and go tie horse to the hitching post.
Gonna join you.
As most of you kind of just hitch your horses to the hitching post and have a look around. Yeah, like it's weird. Like compared to the energy of Sarkosa and the well-to-do-ness of Hyrule Castletown, even the peaceful tranquility of Kakariko Drumnik just seems. There's like an almost oppressive air of dissatisfaction that sits within Drumnik, and granted, part of that might be due to the constant attacks by moblins, as mentioned by the guards, but everyone just is kind of busy going about their business. They don't even say hi to each other. They just kind of move out of their way. There is a muttered sorry, excuse me, as they go, if they do get in their way, but otherwise it's just people living their lives, and yeah.
Okay, so I do not like this place.
Why not?
Yeah. I like the bustle of the city,
Why would you like that?
because it shows that people are at least actively doing something to better themselves.
Mm.
I mean, we didn't mind Rigenstedt so much. And Hikan's like speaking really quietly. But like,
I was
this
only there
place
for
just,
like 5 seconds.
well, like Rigenstedt's small and it's nice and it was fun, but
Yeah, it's nice. This
here it's sad. It's kind of like people just going around and doing what they need to do. There isn't much. What's the word? People are just kind of.
Existing?
They're not living, they're surviving, I think is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
it seems an apt description.
Okay,
Let's get settled in. Just,
yeah.
I don't want to stay here for any longer than I have to.
Okay. I'm gonna go get a drink if you guys want to come with, that's fine. If not, that's cool too. And,
I think it
Hikan's
might be a good idea. I follow Hikan.
Okay.
Hikan's gonna go to the Moblin Kicker.
Mara says, I'm just gonna go. I'll find Captain Whitestone and bring him to the tavern, so we can talk. I'll be with you guys as soon as I can.
Good thinking.
So you go over you make your way through town and asking for a couple of directions. People aren't like shirty with you when you ask directions, but they are.
It's over here.
Yeah, it's over there. It's just over there. And as you do, you find the Moblin Kicker, which is a very okay building. It's a stone building that is that has 2 stories, but the second story is there's like more or less half the size of the first one. And inside you see that there aren't many people in there. There's a couple, and they kind of stick to their quiet conversations. Behind the bar is this squat-looking Goron with like a leather jerkin vest. Kind of has this dark brown rocky beard that kind of forms a circle around his face as it sort of just goes down his chin and into a short tuft of hair. There's a tattoo or a series of tattoos on both of his arms as he's kind of cleaning a glass. He sees you as you look over, or as you enter, and he says, welcome to the Moblin Kicker Tavern. I'm Ruckla. You want anything to drink?
As Hikan walks in, are there anybody kind of like chatting even to themselves or anything? Like to each other?
Yeah, there's a couple of people who are kind of chatting to themselves. Excuse me. Yeah. But yeah, there are a couple of people who are more or less talking to themselves, or are talking amongst themselves, and really it's just kind of idle conversation from what you can overhear. But if you're looking for anything specific, I'd like a perception check, please.
Absolutely. I'm just kind of looking for people that probably seem a bit friendlier or more open to conversation, just kind of generally taking a look around the room.
Okay. There are 1 or 2 people who seem friendly enough. Ruckler definitely seems like he has more energy than most of the people in the room, excepting you guys, of course. And there are like 1 or 2 random random patrons who seem to, like, the ones who are normally leading the conversation are the ones who seem to be the more talkative of the bunch.
Okay. So I will walk up to Ruckla. It's like, yes, I would like something to drink. Do you have any ale or anything along those lines?
Oh, we
like,
have
what kinds of
ale.
ale?
We definitely have ale. Let me have a look here. And he says, let's see. Are you looking for a gallon or a mug?
Oh, just a mug, please.
A mug? Okay. A mug's gonna set you back 4 copper pieces.
4 copper pieces. And what are those guys drinking? And he points over to one of the guys that seems to be leading the conversation with a couple of his buddies here.
Oh. They appear to be drinking some of the finest Zora wine that we could barter off some passing Zora tradespeople in the river. It's a okay drink. It'll set you back about a silver piece a bottle, but...
Okay, so the ale for me and a bottle of that, please. And Hikan will give him 2 silver.
Okay. He'll happily take the money. He will then go off to pour your drinks and says, anything for your friends?
Bit of the same.
Okay.
It's water for me.
Okay.
Got anything to eat?
He says, and what's your last friend thinking of going for?
Water?
Water. Okay. You mentioned food.
Yeah, we haven't had dinner yet.
Okay. Skull Max! And there's a as the door opens, and this kind of the stout reptilian snout of this what at first you think is a little foss, but actually a Dynal foss just kind of pokes through and says, "What? and it says, these folks want some food. What do we got? And so, I'll find something. And just disappears back in. And you can hear, like, the light kind of clatter of boxes being moved, cupboards being opened, things being put elsewhere. But eventually
Don't see many dino faces.
Yeah. Eventually, Ruckler kind of presents you with the drinks. Says, yeah, well, to be honest, when I opened the bar here, I was kind of looking for anything I could get. Skullmax is the best cook that I could find. And that's not to say that he's not good at it. He's good at it, but, well, no one else really applied. They were just kind of happy to do whatever it is that they were currently doing. And eventually the Downfalls kind of pokes his head back and says, we got plenty of cheese. And cheese? And, yeah, cheese. Meat too. Bread. Fresh. And so, okay, well, that's our supply, apparently. Any of that sound appealing?
Yeah, just give us some.
Okay. I'm gonna rank these as a poor meal. And say, well, from the sounds of it, if you want to go for a meal of any kind of collection of that, that'll be 6 copper per meal.
I dig around in my spare change. She said 6 copper per meal.
Yep.
I put down all of my copper, that is 30 copper pieces, and I say, friend of us is going to join us in a bit.
Okay. I'll make it a platter then. Alright, Skullmax, 1 platter with whatever we got. And he's like, fine. He just stomps back in. Ruckler just kind of turns to you and says, he is a good person when you get to know him.
How long does it take to get to know him?
I don't know, I've known him for like 5 years.
I don't think we have that much time.
Well, while you're here, if you're looking to have more fun than the other people who are here, I suggest that we have 2 things that we have. Occasionally, on an evening, we run the Rip-Roaring Contest of Might, which is just arm wrestling. It usually comes with like a free drink every time you win a contest. And of course, we have there are a couple of times in the tavern where we clear out the tables and we have a good old-fashioned Goron-style sumo contest, which is in the middle there. And he points to the middle of the tavern. You can see what looks like the vague outline of a circle, roughly about 10 feet in diameter. He says, and if you're thinking of getting bored, we have a place over there which is cleared out for axe throwing if you want to take a crack at that. And he gestures to an area where it looks more or less like a larger cleared out space for a dartboard, but there's like a rack of throwing axes just to the side.
Do we see any like signs that this Goron is trying to gentrify Drumnik Town? Because there's axe throwing, there's all these activities.
Make an insight check.
Okay. 17.
It might be. Like, there's definitely like a case of like he turned up. Like you kind of one assumption that comes to mind is that he turned up and established a tavern in Drumnik, and then decided that patrons were not coming in often enough, and thought, well, what if I was to add things that people could do to kind of blow off steam after a long working day? And because he's a Goron, kind of focused that attention on things that he knew was okay, Goron style. Don't know how well that's taken though. But yeah. He eventually says, well, your food will be ready in a bit. Skullmax will know who to look for, so if you find a table that suits your needs, then feel free, sit down, relax a bit. If you're looking
Thanks.
for a room, feel free to come back and talk to me. We have a couple of rooms. We have one boardroom, which has several beds in it. We have a couple of single-person rooms and one stately room, I suppose, which has a single double bed and a few other amenities. There is a bathroom that has both lavatory and a tub that you can use to wash yourself with, but other than that, welcome to the Moblin Kicker Tavern.
I look over at the others to see where we want to go and sit.
In the majority of most of that talking and exposition, like Hikan paused halfway to the table, listened to the contests of physical strength, and then kept walking towards the people that he asked about.
Okay. So you head over to a group of individual, or like a group of 3, let's say, who are kind of just talking to themselves, and the one person in the middle is currently in a conversation. They all turn eyes to you as you approach, and says, "How can I help you?"
Oh, I saw that your bottle looked to be a bit low, and I was new in town, and I just wanted to ask if I could sit down, and I'll put the bottle of Zora wine on the table because I totally know what I'm doing.
Okay. You put the bottle on the table, and they kind of eye it, and like, "Oh, that's lovely kind of you, stranger. Sure, feel free, sit down, have a talk."
Yeah, we were actually looking for a friend of ours that was missing. Have you seen a man that likes to wear a robe, pretty colorful, has a beak?
They like as you get to the end of that description, they're like,
Oh, gross, right.
a beak, you say?
Yeah.
Like a bird?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything.
I think
like
the
that.
word that my friend used was whiz a whiz robe. I think that was what he was called.
Whiz robe. You guys see anything like that? And looks to the other 2. And they roll to see if they've seen anything. And they both roll poorly. The 2 of them just kind of, never heard of a Riz robe before. And the other one's like, yeah, never heard of a Riz robe before. So, well, helpful. Unfortunately, I don't believe we've seen one of those. But we can keep an eye out if you like. Are you going to be staying here long?
At least a day or 2, but we'll see if we can find anything else. I do appreciate your time, though. Thank you.
That's okay. We're glad to help. You take care now.
You too. And Hikan will just turn up or stand up and drink his ale as he walks back over to his party and leaving the bottle of wine there for them.
Okay. So as you return to the party, and I'm guessing all of you kind of find an appropriate table and sit down, the door opens and Mara wanders in, and behind her, dressed in full plate mail, is a tall, strapping gentleman who has this long blonde hair, kind of a scruff of a beard. Over one shoulder appears to be a wolf's pelt, and he seems to be armed with a sword and a shield. And Mara looks at you and says, like, waves a bit and says, "Hi, this way." She says, and the guy follows her, and says, "So this is Captain Whitestone." And the captain puts a hand forward and says, "Hi, Eric Whitestone. I believe you've helped my father with something before?"
We have.
Oh yeah, I
Appreciate you.
thought that sounded familiar.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah, I attended the funeral that my brother had, and yeah, thank you for putting him to rest. By the way, it's good to meet the people who did so.
Our condolences.
It is shocking. Marcus never really had that much of an ambition to go into the same kind of profession that me or Dad did, but well, he found his happiness.
Did.
Yeah. I'm proud of him.
From what we've learned, he did seem to have found happiness. Yes. That is not what we came here for.
Hmm. Well,
We have heard talk that there was someone here that we were looking for.
Yes, Miss Fletcher explained in some way, shape, or form, looking for a whiz robe.
Correct.
I heard my men talking about some bird people going by. A couple of them were saying that they claim to see some Watarawa, but, well, they hardly come around, and they're mostly in the north anyway, so...
Sorry, the term is unfamiliar.
Watarara? Some people call them Rito.
Ah, I have heard of those, yes. Never seen one of them.
Yeah, they move, but as far as whiz robes go, describe them to me, if you can.
They wield magic, generally. Well, the one that we met actually wore a robe. Not sure if you're familiar with toucans.
Toucans?
Birds, long, colorful beaks. Reminds me of. He reminds me of them.
Okay.
Goes by the name of Flamgo.
Flamgo. Don't know if we saw any toucans, but I remember one of our troop had mentioned something of a flamingo-looking guy. Okay.
Where exactly?
Said that he passed through town really briskly. That was a week or so ago. Said that he was going north, like out of town over the bridge towards Moblin territory, and that's, well, couldn't really stop him. But because as far as I know, he was just some guy walking through town, or at least that's the way it was explained to me. Not sure exactly what he'd want in Moblin territory.
And he hasn't passed back through?
Not as far as I'm aware. Could have taken a sharp left, or sharp right, sorry, made his way to Zor's domain. But, I don't know.
I think we should continue our investigation after a good night's rest, and then head up north. We have some unfinished business with this Flamgo, you see.
Max has been like quietly firing a death glare at the table ever since he got mentioned.
He says, well, judging by the fact that you are all very heavily armed, or at least under the suggestion of being heavily armed, I would imagine that you have that variety of unfinished business with the guy.
Ziden's not heavily armed. He has a walking stick.
I
You
have a
wouldn't
staff.
want to take an old man's walking stick.
I also have a walking stick.
In any case, if you do intend on heading north to Moblin territory, please be careful. They're stupid, but there's a lot of them, and they are a lot stronger than your average person.
We have some people that are stronger than the average person here, so your warning will be taken into consideration.
Alright. Well, if that's the case, then sure. Is there anything else that you need to speak to me about at all?
Well, we thank you for the information you've given us already.
Okay.
Is there anything else we should be worried about in town or outside of it?
No. There is the church bell has been repurposed for the sake of an alarm in case there's another larger moblin attack. So if you hear that and you're willing to help out, great. But if you want to stay safe, just stay inside, lock the door, barricade it with something. We usually be able to fight them off in most cases, so it should be okay.
If you need any help with that, then just give me a short rest and I can come and help.
Thank you. Well, I better get back to the shift. Enjoy the rest of your time here.
Thank you.
With a clatter, he leaves, leaving you to more or less relax for the rest of the day. And considering the time and everything, I think what we'll do is we'll call it there, because anything else we get into will take us drastically into overtime. So, I have been ArticulateT, and this has been episode 48 of Hyrule Chronicles 5e D&D. With me today, as always, I have had Renji Vox being played by TheNetherlad.
As I've said, we've given some people a very bad day.
Playing Hikan Sio, I have had Alvarance.
I don't trust that bird.
Playing Ziden Shari, I have Robopart.
Sounds mostly like Renji gave Renji a bad day.
Oh yeah.
And finally, playing Max, I have Keistrith.
Max is going to have a very bad day.
And we will see you guys next time. Remember to wash your hands. Bye!
Bye.